Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and what are we getting all excited about today? Well, I'll tell you, my friends, it's real-world usage of XRP. So here's the headline from the Daily Hodl. Media titan with over 144 million readers tests Ripple-backed Coil for web monetization, which uses ILP, Interledger Protocol, and XRP for the streaming. It's basically streaming money real time. I mean, everybody can get down with this concept at this point in 2020, right? So you understand that if you're watching Netflix, you're streaming content. Well, we're talking about doing that with money, specifically XRP. So I'm going to be running through this, and it is fascinating. You're going to recognize some of these names. Wait till I share this with you. And then this piece is unrelated, but I want to run through this as well because it's just fascinating. And I'm going to, of course, come at this from the perspective of an XRP holder, because this is an XRP-centric YouTube channel, damn it. And that's how we're going to roll here. But Bitcoin's in the title. Here it is. This one's also from Daily Hodl. Lots of insidious Wall Street tricks are coming for Bitcoin, says Caitlin Long, but I think this will apply to XRP as well, so I thought I'd share with you some of the specifics. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and also if you are a fan of real-world utility for XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Because if you do, maybe we can become friends. Perhaps even best friends. We'll see where this takes us. Before delving into that, though, I do have one real quick unrelated thing. I posed a question, and I want serious, hard answers. And I wrote the following. I can't be the only one thinking this. What if Neo took the red pill and the blue pill at the same time? Now, obviously, everybody listening, you do know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen The Matrix, do you live in a shoebox or in a cave? Tell me where you are living where you are not able to see The Matrix, because that doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll get the concept of the red pill and the blue pill. I mean, in case you're unaware, fine. The red pill, if you take this, it will allow you to see the truth. Perhaps an unpleasant truth, that you can see it, and we all know what the blue pill does, right? I mean, come on, we've seen the commercials. The blue pill, if you take that one, it will put you at full salute. And if you stay at full salute for over 4 hours, you should definitely seek professional medical attention. And so my question here is, what happens if you take both of these at the same time? And there was one response from an XRP community member that made me laugh a good bit, so I had to share it with you. It is this. Just responded with this GIF, which is some sort of human version of Peter Griffin from Family Guy. Bravo. Bravo. You got 3 chuckles out of me. Well done, Ryan. So if any of you have any other great answers to that, what happens when you take both pills at the same time, I'd love to hear it. But into this piece now. Media titan with over 144 million readers tests Ripple-backed Coil for web monetization. Global media powerhouse Condé Nast, which attracts more than 144 million readers and 435 million monthly visitors, is testing Ripple-backed Coil in an effort to monetize its web content. Now, of course, this is an entirely new form of web monetization. Previously, there were only 2 real ways to monetize pretty much anything on the webernets here. One would be a paywall, meaning, and we've all encountered this, right? You go to click on an article to read it out, you're excited about whatever catchy headline you've said, oh my gosh, I want to see this content, but then upon arriving on the page, you see that you must subscribe and whip out the credit card so that you can begin reading the article. Or they'll just give you like the first paragraph and a half of content, and then you scroll down like, I can't finish it, but now I'm really invested in it. And that's how they try and get you. So that's a paywall. The other way is just have ads all over whatever content it is that you're looking at, which is also not fun. And is anybody else creeped out by the ads that follow you all over the internet, whatever the hell those are called? It's just, you are the product. If you're on social media or the internet, like, you're the product, basically. There's a better way to do this, though, at least an alternative way, because, look, some people are always going to want the free route, which means you do have to put up with ads. Some people are happy to pay subscriptions. It's not that these options are going to go away, but there's a third option that's out there that makes sense, and I believe will get traction. Hopefully it's with Coil, but it just makes so much damn sense I can't imagine this not ultimately picking up in one form or another. And again, hopefully it's this, because it does use XRP, and I like that as an XRP holder. So the third form is just streaming money in real time. You pay a subscription to Coil, and as one Apple executive put it. He compares like when it was being described to him by the creator of Coil, Stefan Thomas, who used to be Ripple's CTO. The Apple exec was like, "Oh, okay, so it's basically the Amazon Prime of the entire internet," which is kind of a fun way to look at it, right? Because you pay $5 a month, and then any website, any platform that's Coil enabled, it just streams this money in real time. And that's it. And so you don't have to worry about it as you're streaming money. Because the other option, they thought through all this, obviously. Imagine that you're on a website and you know that as you continue to scroll downwards in this blog or you watch one more second of this video, that you're paying for that in real time. And even if it's just fractions of a penny, real small amounts, Stefan Thomas, they realized, okay, well, this is going to make people behave in a way that is not desirable. They're going to be thinking about how much money they're spending all the time. So rather than it be you put up your money into this wallet, whatever it may be, and then it's just streamed, and then however much you use, that's how much you pay for whatever time period you're watching it. Rather than that, it's subscription-based. So it's $5 a month, and what's fascinating is if you're a heavy consumer, and Coil is acknowledged, like Stefan Thomas has talked about this, if you are a heavy user, in theory it's possible, it might be a challenge, but in theory it's possible. Oh my, I said theory and Siri kicked on. Siri! Oh my God, British Siri, knock it off. I am not talking. I said theory, and she thought I'm talking. Now you done messed up, son. You are ruining my video. What was I even saying now? God, go home, Siri, you're drunk. Oh my God, freaking Steve Jobs. Anyway, what the hell was I saying? Somebody remind me. What was I saying? Right. As far as the streaming. All right, so if you were very conscious of the concept that as you're God, I'm getting all frazzled here now. As you're viewing content on a blog or a video, whatever it is, you'd be conscious of the fact that you're effectively losing money. It would change the behavior, it would be undesirable, adoption could be harder. So again, rather than that, it's just subscription based, and so the whole concept is that if you're a heavy user, Stefan Thomas has talked about this publicly. In theory, oh God, I said it again. Okay, she didn't activate. Coil could lose money on you as a customer, even though you're paying $5 a month. If you're a heavy user, but there are going to be all sorts of other people that are paying just $5 a month for the privilege of not having to see ads and avoid paywalls. There are all sorts of others where they're going to spend nowhere near $5 worth of content on Coil, and so the whole business model bets on more people than not spending, consuming so much content that it's going to be profitable for them. It's a little concept of, have you guys ever seen Extreme Couponers go to a grocery store? It's a funny show. I haven't seen it in years. I don't even know if it still exists, but there are these people that would cut, and they spend a crazy amount of time doing this, but cutting out every coupon possible, and with all the discounts and this and that, they can spend like hundreds of dollars, and sometimes they get essentially all of their groceries free. And so nobody's making money on that, right? And so if you're you offer the coupons to get people in the store making your money up elsewhere, but some people, if they're heavy users of coupons in such a way, you could actually lose money. So conceptually, it's a reasonable analogy. It's the same type of thing. There are going to be some people where you lose money and all sorts of others where you make money as long as that's how retail works, really. You make money on most of them, but on some you will always lose money if you have heavy instances of discounts there. All right. But anyway, so Ripple community members were quick to pick up on the development and discovered that most of the media companies' brands in the U.S. have Coil enabled, and you guys have heard of probably most, if not all, of these. Look at this, and it's all under one. And this actually, I should mention this too. It was Eric Danoon, XRP community member, that first caught this. It was Condé Nast's tech publication Wired. I saw that they had enabled Coil. And you can see that's what this picture is here, where I'm circling right here. It says Coil is paying. So that certainly caught Eric off guard. He was like, what's going on here? I was unaware of this, which makes sense here. And again, it's streaming XRP in real time. And so here's some of the entities from that you've probably heard of. The New Yorker, Vanity Fair, Teen Vogue, GQ, Allure, Condé Nast Traveler, Architectural Digest, and Bon Appetit. And so I'd heard of most of those. I wasn't aware of Bon Appetit, Condé Nast Traveler, or Architectural Digest, but I think the rest I had heard of. So how about that? So this is big. So now they're just testing it at the moment, but even if it's not something that is going to effectively help these publications in some notable way now, well, that would only be because this is a newer development anyway. But as time passes, as more people come aboard, it's just like any other network. It becomes more valuable and there's more opportunity. So if they're willing to hang through this, and they see the test work on the small scale, and then they just understand that as the ecosystem grows, they'll get additional benefits out of it, I could see this working out. And I don't believe that these will be the last of the household names that you'll see utilizing Coil, but that's just fun speculation, so we shall see. But understand that in order for this to happen, XRP has to be held, which affects supply and demand, and the more activity we get, the more adoption that is required, the more XRP has to be held. And you understand supply and demand, right? I don't have to explain that. So for us as XRP holders, this is good stuff. All right, next. Here we go. I think, no, here's what I want to pull. There we go. From Daily Hodl, lots of insidious Wall Street tricks are coming for Bitcoin, says Caitlin Long. Chief executive of Wyoming-based Avanti Financial Group and 22-year Wall Street veteran Caitlin Long says insidious Wall Street tricks may be on the horizon for Bitcoin. And again, I think ultimately this would apply for XRP as things continue to evolve, even if not in the short term. Now, in a recent episode of Disruptmeister, the former Wyoming Blockchain Task Force committee member says that while there's nothing inherently wrong with coin lending, she fears that some entities may offer Bitcoin-related products that are not actually backed by Bitcoin. And here's a quote. "There is absolutely nothing wrong with debt." And I do want to pause right there because I don't completely agree with that. There's lots that can be wrong with debt. If you look at the way people in America in particular treat money, it's just like magical money growing on trees here. I'm of the mindset that you should live substantially beneath your means. Most of America goes the exact opposite, right? They spend exactly way outside their means, taking on loans for everything. This is not desirable. This is how you end up staying poor, in particular if you've got massive credit card debt. That is how they get you. If you're talking about paying 16 or 20% interest on a credit card, that's not good. That's the opposite of the magic that is compound interest, and you're going to stay poor forever if you don't fix that. And so all sorts of things can go wrong with debt, and I don't think that people are sufficiently taught about this as they're growing up. I think that should be taught so that people are more responsible with money. But, so anyway, I'm not saying that literally all debt is bad. I'm saying that there are massive problems with debt that are keeping people forever poor. That is not good. But anyway, I won't talk about it any further. I could go off on a tangent for like 20, 30 minutes probably. Anyway, here's how it reads. There is absolutely nothing wrong with debt, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with coin lending as long as it is 100% backed with real on-chain coins. When you start to actually have off-chain claims to Bitcoin that are sold as if they are Bitcoin, and they are no longer linked to the actual blockchain itself, that is when you start to get that circulation credit creeping in. That is the bad type of financialization. I have called it leverage-based financialization. Another way to call it is uncovered claims to Bitcoin that are not 100% backed by real Bitcoin. There are lots of ways that Wall Street does this. It's very insidious, and because of the way the accounting works, auditors don't even catch this either. It is something that builds slowly over time, and unfortunately, I think it's probably coming to Bitcoin. I think she's spot on. I don't know if I've talked about this in the past. I can't recall, but I have been thinking about this for some time because I realize that things like this happen in traditional asset classes, and it's not exactly favorable. And ultimately, look, I do think she's right, and I think that we've already seen. We're talking about lending out all sorts of different cryptos, and we've talked about that conceptually as well on this channel with XRP, so to me it seems probably like a matter of time, so it's worth being aware of this. I don't like, so it's basically what you're talking about is a representation of, in this case, Bitcoin that isn't really there. Not really, it's not actually backed. And this is why I have a problem with coins, because look, you either have an open market value, in which case it's the value is whatever the open market decides it's worth, which is the case with XRP. But when you start to get into this shady nonsense, I don't like it, which is not that far off conceptually from what happens with stable coins, where it's just printed, and then, even if they say it's 100% backed, how do you know? Are you going to be able to sufficiently audit that? It's a centralized solution. So I don't like anything along those lines. But here's what she had to say. Here's another quote. I've been saying that to regulators. Use the blockchain to your advantage. You can track this stuff and verify that there are no shenanigans happening behind the scenes because GAAP accounting is not going to pick this up. And so there are solutions to this if the government's going to go a smart route and enforce that. utilize the blockchain, because if it's a public ledger, what do you think, public blockchain, what do you think is going to be possible here? You can track all this and verify it, and you can prevent this type of stuff. But if they want to allow it to be legal, I think that's probably stupid. So let's watch for this. We'll see how things unfold. That's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because of anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!